Hello, Rock Church. I pray you're all doing well today. Our devotional today is going to come from different selected scriptures. As you might have noticed, the world can be a difficult place. 2,700 years ago, the prophet Isaiah in chapter 8 told us, "Look to the earth, and behold, distress and darkness, and the gloom of anguish." We understand that. And on a more personal level, Solomon, writing in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, said, "I hated life, for the work which had been done under the sun was grievous to me, because everything is futility, striving after the wind. Because all of man's days, his tasks, is painful and grievous. Even at night, his mind does not rest." And that was a man with no media. That's a man just saying life is vain, in my experience. And in John chapter 16, verse 33, Jesus makes us a promise. In the world, you will have tribulation. You will have trouble. So the question is not, why does God allow these things to happen? The question is, why doesn't God allow them to happen more often? There's an amazing statement in Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 37. "Who is there who speaks and it comes to pass? Unless the Lord has commanded it, is it not from the mouth of the Most High that both good and ill go forth? Why should any living mortal or any man offer complaint in view of his sins?" That's an amazing statement. We're not hearing from God as to why all this is happening. And that puts us into an interesting situation. That puts us into a place very much like our buddy Job. He was a man that is described in the scriptures as upright, fearing God, and turning away from evil. That's the best that ever could be said about anybody. And we all know his story. He had great wealth, he had a large family, and all of a sudden everything began to go wrong in his life, and he doesn't know why. We know why, because in the first chapter of Job, Satan comes to God and says the reason he's righteous, the reason he's such a good man, and the reason he worships you is because you blessed him greatly. And then Satan says, take away that blessing and he will curse you. So this is a test for Job. The question is, will a faithful, righteous man be faithful and righteous when he has everything taken away? And the story unfolds from there. God says, I'm going to prove the character of saving faith and the power of sanctification. And so God allows Satan to unleash all kinds of horrors on Job. And poor Job doesn't know why it's happening. Finally, after hearing bad advice and condemnation from his friend, God speaks up. And that's in chapter 38 of Job. And God does not tell him anything about what he's doing. He doesn't tell Job anything about the conversation with Satan. And finally, in chapter 42, Job says, I know you can do all things, and that no purpose of yours can be thwarted. But what did Job learn? He learned that you are sovereign, Lord. God is sovereign. Job says, yeah, I get it. I don't understand it, but I get it. And then Job asked for forgiveness for even assuming that he could understand the purposes of God. You don't need to know, Job. Trust me. Trust me. God is far too complex for you and me, and he only lets us know what we need to know. And what we need to know is written for us in Psalms 103, which tells us that God has compassion, kindness, grace, mercy, forgiveness, love, and care for his own children. That's what we need to know, And that's really all we need to know. Trust me. Trust me, God says. Thank you, and see you next time.